You can't visit Bhutan the way you visit most countries. Travel here is not spontaneous. Movement is regulated, access is controlled, and this is not because Bhutan is hostile to outsiders. It's because the country is designed to limit disruption. To understand why, you have to understand how Bhutan functions as a system. These are 25 facts that explain why Bhutan cannot be visited like other countries. 1. Bhutan is one of the most geographically isolated countries in the world. Steep mountains, deep valleys, and rugged terrain dominate the landscape, naturally separating regions and making large-scale development difficult. This isolation shapes how communities form and explains why controlling access to the country has always been easier than in flatter, more connected nations. 2. Bhutan lies almost entirely within the Himalayan mountain system. There are very few lowland areas suitable for expansion, which limits how cities grow and where infrastructure can be built. Transport, construction, and agriculture must constantly adapt to altitude and terrain, slowing development and reinforcing careful planning. 3. Bhutan is landlocked between India and China. Situated between two powerful neighbors, Bhutan must manage its borders and internal stability carefully. This geopolitical position makes unrestricted openness riskier, encouraging policies that prioritize control and balance over convenience. 4. For much of its history, Bhutan deliberately limited outside contact. Isolation was not only geographic, but also political, chosen to protect cultural and social systems from rapid external influence. This allowed Bhutan to modernize gradually while preserving a strong internal identity. 5. Entry routes into Bhutan remain limited and easy to regulate. With only a few land crossings and a single international airport, managing who enters the country is practical and enforceable. Unlike countries with many access points, Bhutan can realistically control movement across its borders. 6. Bhutan measures national progress using gross national happiness as a guiding framework. Rather than focusing primarily on economic output, the government evaluates success through well-being, cultural preservation, and environmental balance. Development is considered meaningful only if it supports long-term stability. 7. Gross national happiness is structured around 4 official pillars. These pillars guide policy decisions by balancing sustainable development, environmental conservation, cultural preservation, and good governance. The framework turns values into concrete planning tools. 8. Bhutan remained an absolute monarchy until 2008. Political reform occurred gradually and from within, without external pressure or sudden upheaval. Stability and continuity were prioritized over rapid change. 9. In 2008, Bhutan adopted a constitutional monarchy. The transition was initiated by the monarchy itself, voluntarily reducing its own power through law. This preserved public trust while introducing democratic institutions. 10. The king remains head of state within constitutional limits. Authority is clearly defined by law, with governance shared alongside elected bodies. The monarchy functions as a stabilizing symbol rather than an unchecked ruling power. 11. Traditional clothing is required in official settings. Under the Driglam Namza Code, citizens must wear traditional dress in government offices, schools, and formal events. Cultural identity is reinforced in public life through policy, not symbolism alone. 12. Architecture across Bhutan is legally regulated. Buildings must follow traditional design elements, even in modern cities, limiting how quickly urban landscapes can change. Development is allowed, but cultural continuity is protected by law. 13. Buddhism is recognized as Bhutan's spiritual heritage. Its values influence ethics, education, and social behavior, shaping daily life without functioning as a strict religious legal system. Religion and governance remain culturally connected. 14. Most Bhutanese do not use inherited family surnames. Names emphasize personal and communal identity rather than lineage, reflecting a social structure focused on cohesion instead of hierarchy. 15. Social harmony is a strong cultural value. Cooperation and conflict avoidance are encouraged, with community stability often prioritized over individual expression. Personal freedom exists within shared social expectations. 16. Bhutan is widely recognized as carbon negative. Extensive forest cover allows the country to absorb more carbon than it emits, and environmental policy is actively enforced. Economic activity must align with ecological limits. 17. The Constitution mandates at least 60% forest cover. This requirement cannot be overridden by short-term economic interests, permanently restricting large-scale industrial expansion and protecting natural systems. 18. Bhutan has no railway system. Building railways would require cutting through protected forests and unstable mountain terrain, creating environmental and financial costs that outweigh the benefits for a small population. Limited connectivity is accepted as a trade-off. 19. Road expansion is slow and guided by policy. Mountain terrain, seasonal weather, and environmental assessments make construction difficult and deliberate. Roads are built where necessary, not where expansion is fastest. 20. Economic development follows strict policy guidelines. Industries are evaluated for long-term social and environmental impact rather than short-term growth. Balance is prioritized over scale. 21. Until 1974, Bhutan did not allow foreign tourism. The country remained closed long after global travel became common elsewhere, delaying widespread cultural exposure and protecting internal systems from disruption. 22. When tourism was introduced, it was done gradually and cautiously. Visitor numbers were limited from the start, and policies were tested step by step. Tourism was treated as something that could destabilize balance if unmanaged. 23. Bhutan follows a high-value, low-impact tourism model. Rather than attracting large crowds, Bhutan charges daily fees that limit visitor volume while generating revenue. Tourism supports public services without overwhelming communities or infrastructure. 24. Tourism in Bhutan remains regulated through visas, fees, and travel rules. For many years, visitors were required to travel with licensed guides and prearranged itineraries, ensuring movement and behavior were controlled even before arrival. While some rules have evolved, tourism remains structured rather than free-form. 25. Bhutan's tourism rules exist to protect the broader system. They preserve culture, environment, and governance, which is why tourism adapts to the country instead of reshaping it. Visiting Bhutan is possible, but only in ways that fit the system the country has carefully built. Bhutan does not restrict visitors because it dislikes outsiders. It restricts tourism because the country is designed to protect stability, culture, and environment before convenience. Every rule, fee, and limitation exists to prevent outside pressure from reshaping the system. That is why tourism in Bhutan adapts to the country, not the other way around. Visiting Bhutan is possible. It's just not possible in the same way it is everywhere else.